John?
Hey, John.
Can you contrast the first and second half? The first half was really competitive. Was that a disappointment, really?
Yeah.
Second half?
Massively disappointing, especially from our first half performance, but it's happened too many times where Man City started the second half better than us. That can happen against a good team, but what you can't do is concede 2 goals in the manner that we did so quickly, one after the other. And again, it comes down to resilience in difficult moments and seeing those moments through and making sure you're still in the game.
Dom?
We just talked about the difference between the two halves, but even in the first half, there seemed to be moments where, from your technical area, you were maybe showing a little bit of frustration that your team weren't moving it out wide to those sorts of areas as quickly as you might have hoped, or that they weren't maybe taking risks. Did you feel that Chelsea at moments made a little bit within themselves?
I think at the end you do. In the second half performance was nowhere near what we wanted or what we expected at half time. The way I coach, I try to help the players in the moment. There was no frustration in the first half performance. I felt in the first half, our defensive structure, we were organised. We were very difficult to break down. Transition moments, we looked to threat. And actually, Kuku's goal is I think it's an inch, or I don't even know how close that is. I still don't know, to be honest, but they've made their decision. But what we have to do, I don't want to talk about the positives, because the reality now, there's too many times in a short space of time where we go a goal down and then quickly followed by another. And that's something that just can't happen moving forward.
Jack?
There'll be plenty saying that Enzo could have made a difference if he was playing. I just wonder what your response would be to that, and whether it's something you would think to reflect on. Possibly, hindsight is, you see 2020 in hindsight. Enzo's a top player, and honestly, he's a top character. And I'm looking forward to having him back next week. Sometimes you make decisions not based on the short term, you make decisions based on what you want to see long term. And it was a long term decision that myself and the directors and the club aligned, and the leadership group of players that we made, to make sure that our values and our culture in the long term is in the right place. But Enzo is now clear. He's had the conversations he's needed to have. He's been fantastic in the last few days in supporting myself and the team, and I can't wait to have him back in the squad. And you just mentioned about the response to setbacks. In terms of addressing that, is that something you can change within individual players? Or?
I have to. Right now, we are still in the race for the Champions League. We still have the possibility to win the FA Cup. I have to change it now. I'm not a manager that hides. I'm behind maybe we need to do something with other players in the transfer market. I need to change it now. That's why I'm here. So it's something that we have to address, because it's happened too many times where we've been in games against top teams. First half, I felt we actually were very, very good today. Same against PSG for 75 minutes, but then we concede and then the cards we start to fold.
Nizar?
Liam, you're talking about the long term there, and you made that decision for the long term.
Yeah.
But we also heard Pep talking about the hierarchy and how well he's built with Man City.
Yeah.
I was wondering, does this run say anything about the long term plan, that we're currently on, especially if they continue this, these results continue like this?
Yeah, obviously I'm here. I need to win in this moment. This is a huge football club. When I first came, I never asked for a lot of time, because I understand this club. I understand the traditions and the history of this club. I would like to have that time, and I'm confident that in that time that you can create something very, very special within the time that it takes, which even someone as experienced as Pep or Jurgen Klopp, when he won the titles he did at Liverpool, they had a year to sort things out. I've come in January. And it's not an excuse, it's a reality. I need to win in the now. And that's what I'll be focused on. Yeah. It is, but we have to keep working. We have to keep trying to improve. I have to get the team selection right on the balance of our attacking play, but also defending better in certain moments. And that's what we'll focus on.
Liam?
Hi Liam, you mentioned before you're in talks with the club about future planning, squad recruitment. Is physicality a consideration there? Because City and bigger team in most positions today. It seemed to play a role in certainly the first and the third goal.
Yeah, we've had, even over the last week, lots of detailed conversations about what we need to look like moving forward from the summer window. You talk about all different aspects of the game: physicality, technicality, positional things. They're all things that we're in talks in, and we know what we want to improve, and we know where we want to improve in the summer.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.